Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. Now, I, like many of us, have come into the journal world from other paper crafting areas, so like card making, scrapbooking, through the years. Now, because of that, and we're all hoarders, I have lots of paper pads. I have lots of 12 by 12 papers, and I have lots of small 6 or 6.5 inch paper pads that are all partly used. You know, like if I undo some of mine, they've got half sheets in them, they've got bits cut out of them. You know, if I drop it down, there'll be so many sheets in this thing that just fall out. It's not funny. So every now and again, I like to try and finish one up. Now, you've seen before, I've done a 6 by 6 or 6.5 by 6.5 inch small journal with one of them to use them up, or a couple of them. Today what I want to do is, I've grabbed one out. I've got a couple here that need really using, but this is the one I'm going to use. And it's an old Kaisercraft one called Pickled Pear. And it's from yonks ago. Long time ago. And I've got bits in this that are part cut out, and I've got strips, and I've got loose papers, and I've got all sorts of things. So what I plan to do today is I'm going to make a bunch of ephemera. Now I'll have some of this already started, and then we'll jump on and you'll make some ephemera with me, and we're going to use up this pad. There are probably some sheets in here I will never use. So like this glossy black and white one, I just can't. So that'll go into another packet of loose ones that end up in thrift shops, op shops. So we're going to make all these ephemera pieces, and then next week, in next week's video, what we're going to do is make a quick journal to fill with all the ephemera pieces that we've used. So in 2 weeks, we've got our journal. This is me. Yeah, I know. I will work on it during the week. It's all right. It's all right. But we'll start today making our ephemera pieces. So pockets, tags, tucks, all these sorts of things to work our way through this paper pad. Next week, we'll do our journal, ready to fill. We've already got all our ephemera done. It shouldn't take us too long. The week after, maybe. We'll do the cover if we don't get it to next week. We'll see how we go. Haven't quite worked out what we're going to use as our journal cover yet. Let's get on to this. So, first things first, all I've done is I've pulled all the pages that I had remaining out of here, including these ones. The Kaiser ones tended to have borders and tags and bits and pieces. The tags and things I've already pulled out years ago because I use those for my cluster bases, which give me shapes and everything. But I've pulled all the little borders out. These make great belly bands on the ends of other papers to make pockets, things like that. So, and I only had a few left in here because, again, I'd used some of them. So I had those ones left in here. I've put those ones aside. I had a sheet of butterflies. Now I haven't got round to fussy cutting those yet. And that might be a couch job during the week, and we'll come back to it. There was another sheet in there that was this one. I hope it's not glaring too much. Lots of little bits and pieces. Now those ones, the other part of that sheet, I have fussy cut out. So they are all done and dusted. I've got a pile of them here, including all the bits that are on the side. Don't hesitate. If they're just on the side, you will still be able to use them if they're missing a little bit, because they're bits that you can tuck in when you're layering, and they look like a whole one sitting underneath. So don't just discard them because they're not a full piece on here. Okay. So as I said before, we've gone through and we've pulled all our sheets out. Some are full sheets, some were part sheets. Some, as I said before, were those, and I'm not going to use them. They've just automatically, they're gone. But I did think I'd be good, and I left this one in. Again, it's another one of these embossed ones, black shiny, but it's probably usable. Well, it is usable because I was then playing around. I've done up a few things to kickstart us off. Well, some I've finished, some I've got ready to go ahead. And out of that, just to see, I actually made just a little envelope. Nice and easy. We will make another one later on because I can see that being used for an envelope because I can tuck it into a pocket. I've then turned it that way and I've popped on a scrap of paper that I've stamped and one of those little fussy cuts. That's all they need, sitting into a pocket. Now, whether that pocket is one of these pages, whether that pocket is something like a coffee dyed paper, it tones it all down for me, or it's enough for me to use. You might love it and use those sorts of things all the time. I don't. I can't. I just, yeah. So that tones it down enough and I can have a few things going on here. The other thing I did, now this isn't, for me, I sat down and I thought, right, I want to use some of my book pages with this as well. It pads it out, brings all that in. So I just did a quick little 2-pocket, you know, bang, 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 little piece of book page, cut to the size you want, 2 little strips of paper, another stamp. You'll find me using stamps all the time, just as a quick one. But, and I know I said we would do the journal next week, but I sat down and thought about it and I was working this one out and I went, I'm not certain what sort of journal I want to do, let alone the size of it. So what if I make all these too big for said journal, or so small they do nothing in the journal? So I really needed to backtrack a bit there, so sorry about that. And I haven't done the journal. It's all right. It's all right. What I did do was I went to my covers thing. I've got a container and it's just listed covers, and what it is old books, be them like this or be them without a spine at all, where they've completely fallen apart and I can make a spine, or they're a larger one that I can cut the front, say, into 2 sections and make a book that way. So this one, I'm quite happy with the size of this. It is just an old gutted book. You can see it's not in the best nick. It'll have something on the front of that. I don't mind the watermarks and things like that they get on the back. That's fine, but I think the front's got just a little bit too much going on unless I paint splatter it. So that's something that we'll be working on next week. So this is the journal I'm going to be using. So what I did from that, because I will sew signatures in and put them in, I worked out the overall largest size that I could use for a page in here. And that's my guide. So this is just a piece of copy paper, and I worked out with my rulers that I could have 4 3/4 inches by 7 inches for this book, depending on what your book is. Always look and see. So I like quite a bit top and bottom. My furthest pages, and as I said, this would be my largest size page, I like fairly close to the edge. And then I have other pages that are smaller in height, smaller in width, those sorts of things. But this, I surmise, would be the largest page that I would need. Okay, so when you do that, something like that, just sit your book, if you're using an old book, in like that, and you can see that that comes to, you know, just 3 or 4 mil, or about 1/8 of an inch down from there. But that's me. That's where I'm happy with them. So I know now I can put this aside, and I have this little template. This is the size of my largest page. So anything I make can't be larger than this in width. Just can't. But I can do things that will fit for this or smaller, because I want to have different layerings in my signatures. Okay, so that's why I then went on to that, and that would sit on something like that. So it's fine on that size. And I'm going to do all my signatures with copy paper. So coffee dyed copy paper, glassine paper, old envelopes, things like that that I just have floating around. I'm not getting special books or anything else. They'll all just be the things that I have floating around. So I know that that would work on that. And if, let's say that this was a full big page and it was a very light coffee dyed one like that, so you'll see some of mine are light, some of mine are quite dark. So let's say I did a light one. I would stamp that because I'm a stamper, sorry. You could stencil it, you could draw on it, you could leave it plain. But for me, I would stamp on that just to give an overall effect going on behind that. Does this make sense so far? So, okay, so we've got just two little pockets, and this middle one, I have literally only taken to there. So you'll see if I open that out, you'll see that it finishes there. It doesn't go all the way down because it would mean that I would need a really long tag again. Something like this, we're going to adhere in those three edges so that I would have it going tag there, and a tag or journal card in there. You could always have this one going longer, and we'll probably do one of those actually, whereas it will adhere that way and you can slip something in there. So let's do another one of those because it makes it really easy. What am I looking for? Just a piece of book page. I've got that. I've got book page sitting here. I didn't put it away. No, there it is. Look, book page. I've got them everywhere. So this is just a basic book. An older one, probably from, I don't know, 50s, 40s or 50s. So it's not that old, but it's a nice colour. So it's one of the ones that I keep in there. Just going to sit those over. And I just trimmed this one, which is this same thing. I'll have a quick look, making sure that I've got no, don't really want that in there type thing. And I'm just going to trim that down on the edge of the wording so that I finish with all that writing up the top. And that's why I checked my journal pages. Oh, they're nice strips too. So you'll see with this one that I can do that, and it fits nicely on that page. I could go a little bit longer or wider if I wanted to with a separate book, but we're just going to use this book because it's sitting here and it's easier than rifling all the way around in the drawer for a different one. I've got numerous ones sitting there. So this is my now book page that I've just taken off the sides too. Doesn't matter about it here because we're going to have one there, and I'm going to have a top one as well. So this time, same sort of thing. It can be longer. So let's say we want to go up to about here. So I'm going to take that to that one. You'll see no measurements. It's all just looking at my page, which is why I'll quite often do a template page. And then I've got something to work off. Yes, I like that size. So that's my size of my finished pocket because this will have the pocket under here. And what we'll have is we'll have a piece here, a piece here. You could always do a piece at the top as well if you like. I'm just going to leave it and do the two. So we can pick out some other papers. Let's have a look. And we've got lots of them. I've got that one that I can use that way. I really like this, and I'm sure I can use that in something else. And I think it's the only one I've got of that. So let's just check. Now that lace would be nice up along there too, wouldn't it? So I like the lace. We want something to go with the lace. What about something like this one? How's that? That's quite nice. I like those two together. That's the best thing about working with a paper pad. You know they're all going to mix and match and go together anyway, so that's fine. So my first pocket I want round about that size. Okay, now width-wise, because I'm trying to use up a paper pad and I don't know how much I'm going to need of it to start with, I'm actually just taking out what I need. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to go down there, trim to there, which is there somewhere. I'm going to line this up. You could use your trimmer if you like. You know me, if you've been following me for any length of time, I'm lining that pencil mark up with that line on my grid. If you've been following me for any length of time, you'll know that I just use my knife. Right, so I know I'm just following down there. I know that this is all straight, and I'm going to round about that area there. Only because I want to make sure that I don't cut out at this stage more than what I need, just so that I've got that for another strip down there, and I'll show you what I did with one of those in a moment. Right, there is no really right or wrong way with that, is there? So that's the same size as my book page, and I like that as a pocket. Depends on how much we want to show of this one. Go that, and this time I want this as a longer pocket, and then we could have a smaller pocket up here because we've got room. If I drop that down, we've got room for a journaling card or something up there. This is our base, so we can just add on to our base. So here's this one. We're going to do that one, but we want this one to go all the way down this time. So it's going to go to about there. And it's going to be the same width as this, remember? Oh, look, that line just there works a treat. Don't you like it when lines come together? Right, so there's my line up here. I'm going to trim down that. So if you've got just a little V-bladed trimmer, by all means, you can do that. Just as easy. I'm just lining that up without actually sticking my head right into the shot. So that's that one. Yeah, did I say which one it was? It was that one, wasn't it? Okay, so that's that. And move that up to there. Let's see how we go. I'm thinking that could actually go down a little bit. I'm thinking I actually like it better there, you know. Don't want it too high because I want to be able to put another piece of paper up there. So let's go to there. What do we reckon? There. And I'm going to about there. Yes, I know measurements would have been beautiful, but this is me. Lovely, lovely. All right, so that's that one. I'm going to line this one back up again. All because I'm a bit of a sponge and I don't know how much of this paper I want to use. This is years of teaching classes where you've only got a certain amount of paper. That's why I like doing classes in digital kits these days, because if you muck up, you can just print it back out again and print it back out again and print it back out of it. Right, that's that one. That's that one. Yeah, I like the size of that one. Now, we can put another one of these on there. So we could go that on the top. That looks nice though, doesn't it? Let's do that. I only want a piece that's about 2 inches, and we're going to go down from this line that we've already got going on. See, I'm taking more and more and more of this one, aren't I? But I do like that look, so Lining that up on the line, lining that up on the line. Not quite. This is also another reason why I like tearing. Alright. This time I'm just going to use my grid. I'm just fluffing around now, aren't I? Right, 2 inches. I always find 2 inches is such a good size for a pocket. It just works. So there's that one, there's that one, there's that one. This one is going to be open at the top. Okay, so I'm going to have a V in that, a V, thumb hole in there, a thumb hole in there, and a thumb hole in there. So if I sit all those together, like so, okay, this is where I tend to measure, and I'll look and see for round about an even size. So if I sit that there to there, that one's about my middle, keeping them all together. And I'll grab that one. Got to grab them all. Right, let's see if this punch will go through all three. I don't want too bigger. Yep, did it. I closed my eyes and bit my tongue. Right, oh, I've got my bin on the other side, sorry. Okay, so now I've got that one so that you can see its pocket there. You can see that this one is a pocket there, and you can see that this one is a pocket down here. Jazzing them up a little bit and they're done, and the whole thing is already on its backing, so you've got that side tuck as well. They're a great way to get lots and lots of pocket sections in. Now, remembering these ones you don't need to ink if you're inking all the way down, just until you'll see where the next bit is. I might need a little bit more there. This one's the same. Now what I will do is I will ink my the top piece of my book page. I don't need the bottom of that, do I? So I'll ink the top piece of that, because that is now the only bit that I'm going to see, which is really just in the centre. And when we glue these down, this one I'm going to glue first, because I know it's going to go all the way down here. Okay, all three sides. It's very cold here today, as you can see with my big woolly jumpers, and the glue is behaving appropriately to a very cold day. Doesn't matter whether I've used it 5 seconds before or an hour before, it's all over it today. It just wants to stay inside and drink coffee. There we go. Try and stay as close to the edge as you can. As we go through. Alright, so that's our this one is our middle pocket, but because this one is going all the way to the bottom, make sure you get right to your edges up there and leave that to go sideways. Hopefully that makes it a little bit better. Going this way because I'm a righty, we're just going to go down to our book page pocket, line him up. Right, so now I can go with my bottom one. No, I'm not. Going that one first, aren't we? See, we all do it. But I've pulled that up before it's stuck, so that's fine. I've just grabbed it with my fingers and lifted it up. This one we can sit in, slide in, and then I can re-adhere the sides. Okay, so I'm just lifting this bit up, and then I'll re-adhere those ones. So down there, up there, line that up, push it down. What I'm pushing down is this bit. Now I'm just going to go back with this one. If you're worried about whether they're sticking or not, just pop a clip or a paper clip, something like that. Just give them a little bit, again, because we're in winter over here. It doesn't like winter that much. And so you can always just, I have these sorts of clips. I've got a bigger size. I'm going to get these ones, which are actually bag clips from the supermarket, would you believe? And I love them. They're a brilliant clip. They come in little ones like that, which is what I'll swap it over so I can put the other one on. So little ones like that, and they also come in a really big one for when I'm doing full journal covers. That'll just hold that down. And now I want this one for down here. And that one's then ready to be adhered into place into our journal. So we've got that one sitting there. We've got the other one, which will be a top mounted one. So I'll be able to put a tag or a journal card in the top. This one we wanted as a side one. All right, put the lid on that. And then we can just jazz it up and pop some little bits of embellishments on. Sitting there, sitting there. Going to pop that one on there just while it dries. Right, so that's ready to go. We can pop, I will pop stuff on there. I don't know about the other bits, but I'll pop stuff on there. So that one is ready to go for that. There's our side one. Sorry, there's our top one. There's our side one. Those two are done. And I'm just going to sit them in there as they're done. Right, so my envelope, very quickly, we'll make another envelope. Let's just pick another paper. I'm just all over that paper, aren't I? What other paper would I not probably use as much? I like the rest of these, and that's why I could go the black envelope. Let's go a black envelope. Right, nice and quick and easy. All we're going to do is sit it in its cube using your grid. Line up one side, line up the other side. Bring these ones down to your grid lines as well. Okay, if you've got an envelope punch board or something like that, yep, by all means use those, but not every one of us has them. And envelopes are just so easy to make any way, shape or form. So we've got this. I'm just going to use, now this one I did a little bit larger. So you'll see that one there. And I did this one, let's have a look. I did this one just a little bit larger. It's on that line. That line actually goes from there. So if I've got that there, I went there to there, which made this a little bit wider. I'm happy with the height, but I did have to then turn it that way. So that's fine. It can go into a side tuck. Let's go this one, same size. What I tend to do, there's my centre. See that bit and that bit? I pick lines in my grid. So usually it's about a 4-inch one. That one ended up being about 4.5, I reckon. Not quite 4.5. I just picked a line. Let's go on the lines to make it easier. So going 2 inches over from the centre point. This is my line. Lift this up and just give it a little bit of a crease. Do the same on this side. 2 inches over. Exactly the same thing. Lifting it up, giving it a bit of a crease. Okay, so now you've got those two crease lines. Fold them over. Give them a push. Get a scoring tool or a credit card, something that's nice and stiff. Give that a... And do the same with that one. All right, so now what we've got is that. This is our bottom flap. We're going to lift it up, but you don't want to take it right on there, because if you take that, I'll put him back down. If you take that right on there, all it's going to do is sit in here. We want it to come up a little bit, okay? So I usually take them, if I sit that back on our grid, where's that dead smack in the camera? There you go. If I sit that back on our grid just like that, this one's still on a point, this one's still on a point. We're going to keep them on their points. Right. What I usually do is take it up just a smidge. So it's probably about centimetre, 1 to 3/8 of an inch. That's usually quite enough. Just give it a little bit of a lift and then see vaguely where that's coming. And that one's not enough for that one. See how you've still got all this? I'm going to take this up a little bit further. So I'm going to go onto those lines, which is a little bit further again. That's 1/2 inch up. I'm happier with that. I'm going to straighten that. If your paper is larger and you need to go further up, you can always bend this bit off or cut him off. Now our top section needs to well and truly come down here. So again, we're just going to sit it on our grid so that we've got our ruler as an alignment. I'm going to go down here. There we go. There's your little envelope. Simple as that. Okay, now you can have it whichever way you want. I like seeing that. If I wanted to, I could have that bit as my top section, and that one then cut off like that. I just cut it off there. You can't even really see it there. But I quite like that bit. Doesn't have to show, does it? Let's go that way. And then I can trim this section off well and truly. So I can just cut that straight across there. What it does is gives it that slight, more professional look. You know, when you buy envelopes, they're not always just that V in the centre. So that one's going to go up there like that. This one, we need to take out these pieces, but this one needs to come down here. At the moment, if we take that straight out, all right, I'll cut them out so that you can see what I mean. If we take that out, when we fold that, it's still right up here. I'd be happier with a curve. Again, it's just me. So you'll see that I've got a slight curve going on those. And my curves, I just use my French curves. And I'll sit it in there. I will find a curve that I like that will take that out. Quite like that one. So I've got my numbers 41, 39. Like that. I will turn this around and go the same way. So 39 to 41. Right, and then I can trim those off. Like so. Pull that section out. This one, of course, we haven't done any of it, so we don't need to take that corner out because we're going to take the whole section out. Like that. So now when I fold them, they've got just this slight little curve. We do need to take these corners out, just so it's not quite so bulky down the bottom. One, two. Look, I could make these till the cows come home. I like to change my size, my depth, all of that as I go each time. Right, I can still feel a little bit of resistance down there, so I'm just going to trim these ones up a little bit. So I'm just going to take a section off here. You won't see it anyway because it's under the other flap. So that's that one. Oh yes, and you can see that that's folded a little bit, so we'll take that one off as well. Right, so now let's have a look. That's heaps better. We'll glue that one together. Oh, meant to have that hanging down, wasn't I? So I'm just going to glue that bit so that they both sit in together and are nice and strong. See what I mean about the glue and the cold? Doesn't matter that I've literally just used it. It's just, it is cold. It is cold. There we go. Should have bought a mug of cold water, of hot water in here as well. But didn't think at the time. Right. So that's that one. Now you can always stamp or do something on the inside of these ones as well if you like, but we're just going to make this up right now. That one's going to go up there like that. Yep. Oh, I'm all over this show today, aren't I? Doing really well, Kylie. Okay. Straight down. Told you I'm cold, I can't even keep a straight line. That's my excuse today anyway, and I'm sticking to it. Right, there's our envelope. So the black made a nice envelope because that will, you know, we'll be able to do lots of different bits and pieces to that one. So we're going to tuck him aside, ready to decorate and put on our pages next week as well. One of the other things I wanted to show you very quickly. Right, you know how I said we had one of those ones that we then continued to use, where we had that edging and it was just that piece that was taken out? Well, here it is. There's that piece that was taken out. So all we've done with that one is where this was, I'm sure I've still got it sitting there. I've got another one. I must have another one. Oh, look, no, we've taken extras out. We've taken extras out. So there was that one, and we've taken the extra out. All I did was continued down there and creased it to fold over. The excess I cut off, I creased down here so that I had about 1/4 of an inch. Folded it over. Did the same on the bottom. Cut this section out. And at the top, picked an area, folded that over so that this one, when he goes in, will sit in like that. You will have seen me do them before. They are so easy to do. And you've got another little pocket. They're like the coin envelope pockets. So with this one, what I actually want to do though is put some book page or something in here. So, are you going to be wide enough? No. Let's go, you should be wide enough. That's a piece of dictionary. So yes, that one will be wide enough. And what I'm going to do is just go down to, needs to probably go down to there. Let's have a look and see how we go. That will be the whole area. Beautiful. All right. Glue book. Let's see how wide I need this. I can see that one through there. Trim that off the same size. Right. Happy with that. Yep, that'll fit. Right, so I'm just going to glue this with just my glue stick. Doesn't need to go all the way up to the top. We know that now. And just across there. It gives me something non-gluey to actually hang on to. This is nice and thin. It's an old dictionary. That's what I'm looking for. It's from an old dictionary, and the papers are really, really thin, which means that they don't add bulk when I'm doing areas like this. So this is going to get stuck down here like so. Got a little bit there that I'm going to need to trim off because it's sticking out. So while that's glued on and sitting there and working itself out, we can glue the rest of this together. I want to make sure I go right up the edge. This one. So I've done the bottom and the side. The reason I do these is that they give your pocket just a little bit more room to have things in them when they're just glued straight like we did with the last pockets. I can see that that's binding on that one. See how it's folding? So we just want to trim a little bit more of that off. There we go. Yeah, so it'll just allow a little bit more to go into your pockets without them, you know, trying to rip the sides off type thing. All right, so there's that one. And then you can choose which side round you want that. This one I'm just going to work its way. It's still a little bit wet because nothing's drying, but it means that I can do that while we're still a little bit wet. So you can see it's wanted to bulk up a little bit because technically in a real and perfect world, you would wait for that to be dry, but that's fine. We're going to just chop that off. I think I want to round my corners on this too. So let's just have a look. So there. Where is there a corner rounder? Yep. Okay, now I want to do that one as well, so just making sure it hasn't pulled any of the rest out. So now when you open that, you've got this lovely book page, and it could be anything. It could be a digital print, it could be a stamped image, it could be book page, anything like that. If you're doing these paper pads, I would be wary of using them because most of them are very thick. They're a lot thicker than copy paper. And so if you're backing the inside of this with another piece of these, it will make them very thick. So just watch that, because you then want to be able to tuck things in and goodies and stuff like that, and then tuck them into a pocket, which is inside a journal. It's going to make things start to get really, really thick. So that pocket's made. We can work out how we're going to decorate that once we start getting them onto the signatures, whether we want to adhere this to a signature again with another pocket there, whether we want to pop it in a pocket. If it's going onto my signature like that, remembering this is the largest size, if it's going like that and I want to pop a hole there so that that becomes a pocket or that becomes a pocket, I would decorate right down to here. If this is, let's say that's a pocket and this is getting tucked into a pocket, I don't want too much bulk in my decorating and layering down the bottom there. Does that make sense? So that's why I'll wait until I then work out where that's going in this journal before I start adding all my bits of fluff, I suppose would be the best word for it. Right, so that one is done. That one is done. I can take off these. So we've got that one and that one and that one. We've got that one pre-made up. We've got this one pre-made up. I've got another quick and easy way to use the bits that are left over, like these bits. Okay, so let's do one out of this one as well. I want to get rid of the excess of that. We'll trim. I'll just get my trimmer, I think, which is sitting here. And we can just chop off the rest of that. So I know it's nice and straight. I can get a measurement. That's all sitting down there. That's all nice and straight. Beautiful. So I've got this piece. That is not what you would call nice and straight, Kylie. There is something going on there. Just going to trim the whole thing back. There we go. Keep forgetting my bins over this way. Just got too much junk over there. Right, so I've got this now, and what I want to do with this one is make a very quick matchbook notebook. So this doesn't really have a directional up or down either way with that, does it? So I'm thinking of going about that. Now you can score these. You can score these. I'm just folding it straight over. This is soft enough paper that it's not going to rip or tear. Right, there's that one. And we're just going to make a matchbook. So this will fold down until it's just in where that bit is. Okay, which would hold it. Do you see what I'm doing? So if that's like that, this one's going to sit in here like that. So you can do this with any size scrap you've got. That's why I'm not giving you a measurement. I'm showing you how to just do it because your scrap might not be this size anyway. Okay, so we've just folded it up, given it just, it's probably, I don't know. Bit over 1/2 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eighths of an inch, or about 1.5 centimetres. All right, that's enough for your bottom piece. Doesn't matter what size you're doing. Fold your top piece down, sit it in so that it's, you know, can you see how far away I am for that? Like that. Line them up. That's why I needed that nice straight edge. And I'm just going to take it up there. Now I can let go of this. All right, I can sit it down here now and crease this down. Straight down like that. This will fold up like that and it'll flick out like so. Okay, that's all that there is to them. These are little matchbox notelets. I like to make them into little notebooks. So here's one I prepared earlier. And I'll finish this one off. So again, exactly the same thing, but I've inked all this. Oh, look, it could be the same size. It might not be the same size. They're just what they are. This one comes down and sits in there, okay, and flicks up like so. I've stamped on the other side of this so that I've got something going in there. And what I like to use in these are bits of, this is packaging from shoes, but these are smaller ones. I like using them in my signatures as well. These ones are smaller ones, so they're my offcuts that are left. And what I want to do is just make a few that are around about the size of this. They don't all have to be the same size. I'm just trimming these guys up. And we just need a stapler for this one. All right, what size do I want them from down there? They'll be stapled in down here. And I want to go about up there. And you can pop in as many or as little as you like. So I'm just tearing all these ones off, nice and easy. Oh, that one's nice and jagged. They can stay jagged, that's fine. Let's put a couple more in. Again, I just use my scrap piece. Let's find one that's slightly straighter. There you go, that one is, isn't it? Yeah, let's go that one. I'm just going to tear that one straight off. Right. As I said before, I'm a righty. I like being a righty. I can get all these sorted, but yes, I will keep turning them around, sorry. And it's very hard in a family of lefties. I know, right? There, that one. And that one. And that one. Just that one. So that'll give us, that's not going to be a ruler, is it? That's because I'm not looking. That'll give us 4 sheets. They will all just sit in there, like so. Up like that. Might need to fold a couple of those a bit further down. Let's have a look. Don't really want to lose all that. If you like, make them nice and straight. I just like mine a bit messy. That works. Right. Now, you can either move this one up and staple all the way through, or what I quite often do is staple through there. And then I will run a bit of double-sided tape on this down here so that it's still only down there and this one will come in. Just because I don't like the look of the staple through there. It's just a me thing. Truly, really, sorry. Okay. So that's just going to go in there. I'm going to go about there. Right, my double-sided tape will run there and then that will still sit in that like that one. Okay, and it just hides my staple. But that, again, is just a me thing. I'm terrible for doing things like that. I can't help myself, sorry. Right, so a bit of double-sided tape down the bottom. Whereas if you staple it, you don't need to worry about extra adhesive on this section because the staple will hold the whole thing in. My bin's not over there. I've got to put my bin back. Right, there's that one. There's that one. Done. You've got a little matchbook thing. Okay, again, we just need to decorate the front. We've got that one ready as well. Now I've got the other one that's sitting there ready to go as well. I will have to finish that one off with more of these, or I might just use some copy paper, whatever. I just use all my scraps that are sitting around. So we've made a start. We've got a couple of envelopes. We've got a long, like a coin envelope. We've got a few little matchbook note cards, and we've got a couple of different pockets done on our book page base. Start doing those during the week. Work on those ones. If I come up with any others during the week, which is what I will do because I want to use up all that paper, I'll show you how I've made those ones, and then we will start putting them into our journal. We'll get our signatures all together, sew them in, and then it's not going to take long to decorate because our decorating is done. It's previously done, sitting there, just waiting for us. Okay, see you next week for the end of this one. Until the meantime, happy crafting. Bye.